go to any temple, I see lots of children begging on the door of temple. I give them some money and also think that what can I do for them. But sir, thinking a lot on topic, I have found that if they have been literate, then they are not doing this. So sir, if we are not reading these objects and not become literate, then what can we do to know ourselves?
Right, good, sit. First of all, about the need for your normal conventional education and its relation to poverty. Where does poverty come from? Do you see anything in entire existence that is poor except human beings? There is the grass on the ground. Is it ever poor? There is rain and it is green. And when the sun would be beating hard, it would just hide beneath the surface, right? The roots would be intact, only to emerge back again in the rains. It faces no poverty. It does not cry that I am short of resources. Birds, animals, trees, nothing is ever poor. Nobody needs to go out, fight, earn, save, secure the future. Not at least as much as human beings do. Nobody has as much knowledge as human beings have, and yet it's only the human beings that are dying of starvation, of poverty, of war, and of 10 other things. Hundreds of millions of human beings have died because they did not receive enough food. You would have not heard of hundreds of millions of animals dying this way. They don't. So where does poverty come from? Poverty is not at all natural. Poverty is just the dual opposite, rather the dual partner of greed. If a few humans are seen begging, it is not because there is something wrong with them. It is not because they did not go to schools or colleges. If you pay attention, it is really because there are a very few, a handful of other humans who have, out of their greed, hoarded all the resources with them. I do not know whether you are aware of this, but more than 95% of the world's wealth resides in the hands of less than 1 or 2% individuals. When all the resources have been taken over by just a few individuals, is it not obvious that starvation will be there and rampant poverty will be there. Trees and animals and everything in nature takes only as much as it really needs. Go to a jungle and you will never find an obese animal, a really fat animal. Because no animal ever eats more than what it really needs. You will never find that a tree has saved, hoarded for the next 50 years, for the next 7 generations. It is only human beings that collect, hoard, and that they glorify as savings. And why is that so? Because there is a deep insecurity in the human mind. Work has been done by economists who studied the famines and the food shortages. And they said that food shortages are not really from the supply side, they are more from the side of distribution. Enough food is there. Enough food is there. It's just not reaching everybody. Why is it not reaching everybody? Why is it not reaching everybody? Similarly, is there really a shortage of space for kids to sit and study? No. Every kid can have a seat in a school. But the school won't admit him. The school has enough space. But the school won't admit him. Why won't the school admit him? Because the school must take the fee. And why must the school management take the fee? Because it has to pay somebody else. And why must somebody else be paid? So that somebody else may be paid. And ultimately, where is the money going? In the pockets of a few greedy and insecure individuals. It is because of these handful of people that the entire world is suffering. But again, that does not mean that we are apportioning the blame upon somebody. Those handful of people are able to exist and prosper only because the remaining 99% of the world's population supports them. Not only supports them, it actually respects them, worships them. Your great corporate icons. You do not understand that it is they who are responsible for your poverty. And remember, poverty is of two kinds, absolute and relative. Absolute poverty is when your basic needs are not being met. Absolutely, not many of us are poor because our basic needs are being met. We have food, clothing and shelter. But relatively, each one of us is very, very poor. Each one of us lives us in a complex that we have lesser money compared to somebody else, and that is why there is this thirst to acquire more and more. You look at the large buildings and the great palaces these people have raised, and then what do you feel? I must also have this. This is called relative poverty. Oh, I am so poor compared to him. Now, no animal is poor compared to another animal. At least not in the degree one human is poor compared to another human. So what is poverty? Is poverty something that existence gives you, or is poverty something that you bring upon yourself? is poverty something that existence gave you, or is poverty something that the society has given you? If existence were to be blamed, then ask yourself, why is nothing else poor? The rose is shining so majestically without earning anything. The animals are leaping and playing so beautifully without going to work. And man is being told again and again, unless you make a career, you will die of starvation. We have not seen rabbits and lions and elephants die of starvation because they don't wear a tie and go to offices. In fact, they are so healthy. They live their full natural life. They don't get heart attacks. They don't suffer from AIDS and cancer. They don't have to go to psychologists to get treated for depression unless they are in contact with human beings. They don't do their MBAs. And they have no bank accounts. Yet they are so happy. Look at all the flowers in your campus and look at your own face. Whose face looks happier? And why is your face so sad? And not only is it sad today, is it going to remain sad till death? It is so rare to find a really joyful man. And it is equally rare to find a sad flower. The flower may be this small. It would still be laughing. And the man might be sitting in this large a car. He would still be sobbing. The car of the neighbor is bigger. That corporate honcho has his private jet. I only have a Mercedes. I am so poor. So who gives poverty to you? Did existence give poverty to you? It's this society that is giving poverty. And even if absolute poverty is eradicated, relative poverty would always exist, because that is the nature of our culture, of our education, of all our training and conditioning. Isn't it ironical? The kids that you are talking of are standing in front of a temple, and that temple must have been built for 1 crore or 5 or maybe 50. So was there shortage of money? Money is there, but where is the money going? Where is the money going? The kids are standing on a highway. Do you know how much it costs to build 1 kilometer of road? So is there shortage of money? Poverty is the companion of riches. There cannot be riches unless there is poverty. Look at your corporate structures, for example. There are the shareholders, then there is the CEO and the COO, then there are the managers, and then there are the workers. Come what may, the workers would always be getting less than 1% share of the profit, right? Who would always be getting a huge disproportionate share of the profit? The shareholders, right? So the more this firm progresses, who will progress more and more? The shareholders. And whose poverty will deepen more and more? The workers. That is the nature of your economy. This fellow will gain 5 rupees. He will gain 5 crore rupees. When he will gain 5 crore rupees, that 5 crore will be used to make things even more expensive. You see, when there is somebody who's prepared to pay 50 rupees for a 20 rupee thing, what will happen to the price of the 20 rupee thing? You are there and your neighbor is there. You are the worker, your neighbor is the shareholder. In front of you two is a seller. You can spend 20 rupees, but you cannot spend more than that, right? He bought something and he was selling it, the seller was selling it for 20 rupees. Now your great neighbor, the shareholder, comes out and says, I am prepared to pay 50 for it. Now what is the price of the thing? Now can you purchase it? Is this not artificial poverty? There was no poverty, but poverty has been created by somebody who has an obscene sum of wealth. Your bike is all right, but then you see a four-wheeler and it's not all right anymore. And then the poor alto sees a Corolla and it becomes ashamed. And the Corolla sees a BMW, and then the BMW sees a jet, and then the jet sees a spacecraft to Mars. And everybody becomes poor. And who suffers? The poor kids in front of the temple. Because everybody must have his pound of flesh, so the one who is the most vulnerable will be left begging. A day may come when out of economic progress, those kids may have enough to feed their stomachs. But remember, with this kind of a system, they will have never enough to feed their souls.